I've already motioned to come out of executive session. Will the township clerk please read the statement of compliance?
This is a meeting of the Township Council for Monday, April 11, 2016. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 5th, 2016. Councilmember Murphy? Here. Councilmember Ohm?
Here.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Here.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Here.
Council President Kadesh?
Here. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's,
Oh, yeah. 20 years.
Flykart, please come forward, make your representation.
For this, I just thought it'd be easier, especially if it's anyone from Barry Lakes came here to observe. It's easier to see it on this format on the screen. This is for Barry Lakes Community Special Assessment for Restoration and Repair of Dam 1. This was just who was at the public meeting.
Then can you speak louder? I don't think
Yeah,
I
he
can
just
hear you
gave
back
me.
there.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Barry Lakes Community sought a dam restoration loan from the NJDEP, and it was granted. Pursuant to the 2003 Bond Act and program rules, the Township of Vernon was required to act as co-applicant and co-borrower in order for the community to qualify and receive the loan. The Safe Dam Act was enacted with NJSA 58:4-12, and it states that the costs of loans for dam restoration and repair shall be assessed in the same manner as provided for the assessment of local improvements under NJSA 40:56-1. By request of Barry Lakes Community, in 2009, Vernon agreed to be both co-borrower and collector of fees for the dam project. The Vernon Township Council passed Ordinance 15-25 in order to comply with this agreement in accordance with NJSA 40:56-1 and NJSA 49-6. This signed ordinance was made possible for Vernon to bill all Barry Lakes property owners equally for the restoration and repair of Dam 1. As I said, that was a request from Barry Lakes. Inasmuch as the restoration and repair of Barry Lakes Dam is for the benefit and common good of all of the community, the total cost of the project was divided evenly among all properties. We worked together with the attorney for Barry Lakes and with the Barry Lakes president in order to get the list ready. Reminders, the Township of Vernon shall not contribute to the payment of any part of the cost for this local improvement. Vernon is only a co-borrower. NJDEP deems Barry Lakes Community solely responsible for the repayment of this loan. A resolution will transfer permission for Vernon Township to collect funds only. Certifications of costs have been reported to Vernon. The total cost is $375,848.53. That includes the principal of $299,000, the interest of $56,848.53, and startup costs of $20,000. That's so as not to burden the community too much. We included in the cost of attorneys and people in the town that need to do the work and for the billing and for mailing. Otherwise, they'd have to come up with that money. The payment schedule is as follows. There are 750 community properties, and the total cost is, as stated before. You can have a one-time payment for $501.30, paid in full with the first bill, or 10 years of equal payments of $50.13 per property. not per property owner. And a payment of full is acceptable at any time, and the collector's office would give the fee to anyone who was wishing to do so. This is important. Should an installment be delinquent for 30 days, the entire assessment or balance due shall become immediately due with interest. This is according to Title 40, Chapter 56, Section 40:56-35. And if they don't pay it then, it would become a lien on their property. Payment of the special assessment is due immediately upon presentation to and approval by the Vernon Township Council. The meeting is scheduled for March 14th, but it was delayed until today, which is April 11th. So as of tomorrow, that payment is due. This is photo of the dam. That's the lakeside and the backside where it overflows. And there it is again. It's really interesting, right? These are the maps of the properties that are affected. This is map page 4, which is part of the Barry Lakes. Then it goes all the way down. The red part is not in part of the assessment, and anything that's red is not. Anything that's red there, they're probably either Vernon Properties or Barry Lakes properties, which is why they wouldn't be included. And there, and that's it. Do you have any questions?
If it were paid for prior to the 10 years, would the interest be prorated?
Yes, the DEP definitely has the interest due no matter whether you pay it early or not. It's all due. It's written in with it, and I believe it's 2%, so it's not a high cost.
May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 16-87?
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Moon?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Keating?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 16-87, confirming the special assessment of the Berry Lakes Dam restoration.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to read the proclamation?
Yes, this month is for the recognition of the maltreatment of children. Whereas the maltreatment, abuse, and neglect of children is a significant social problem that damages children physically, mentally, and emotionally, and inflicts immeasurable harm on society as a whole. And all children deserve to be nurtured, protected, and free from physical or emotional harm. And whereas the mayor and the council of the Township of Vernon, as well as the state of New Jersey and Department of Children and Families, believes that strong, healthy families are the best place to raise children. And whereas the mayor and council of the Township of Vernon, as well as the state of New Jersey, are committed to building a continuum of community-based child abuse prevention and intervention programs that are culturally competitive, competent, strength-based, and family-centered, and that achieve positive outcomes for parenting and family relationships, as well as the empowerment of domestic violence victims and their children. And whereas the mayor and council of the Township of Vernon, as well as the New Jersey Department of Children and Families, embraces the standards for prevention programs developed by the New Jersey Task Force on Child Abuse and Neglect. And whereas all sectors of the community, including law enforcement, medical professionals, schools, courts, and media outlets, as well as the numerous public and private agencies, have joined forces to promote public awareness and community involvement in strengthening families during the month of April and continuing throughout the year. Now, therefore, the mayor and the council of the Township of Vernon do hereby proclaim April 2016 as Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month in Vernon Township, and urge all residents to become involved in efforts aimed at strengthening families and communities and preventing our children from being abused and neglected. Given under my hand in these free United States and Township of Vernon on this 11th day of April 2016, and to which I have caused the seal of the Township of Vernon to be fixed, and have made this proclamation public.
May I have a motion to open the floor for public comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Would anyone from the public like to come forward?
Good evening. Bev Buds, Vernon Township, Chair, Vernon Environmental Commission. A couple quick handouts here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I stand before you tonight because I've been informed that this governing body has issued a rice notice to me that implies that you desire to take disciplinary action against me. For the record, I have not received the said notice within the 48 hours that you are required by law to provide me. More importantly, any documents and records concerning the no net loss grant should be in the township archives. However, since none of you know where to look or what to look for, I am providing each of you tonight a packet of the said documents. I have some serious questions for you. The township has recently been paid by the state of New Jersey $72,000 for the work that has been completed for Phase 1. By my calculations, the cost of Vernon, including my fee for writing the grant, is approximately $46,000. This leaves a balance of almost $26,000. Where is the money? I am being prevented from finishing my work by the current mayor. The new trees that were planted last fall are suffering terribly due to the fact that the recyclable center platform is washing them out. I've had to go over myself and try to put the soil back in since I am not getting cooperation from this administration to maintain the trees. Maintaining the trees and their health is required by the grant contract that Vernon has with the state of New Jersey. I have called repeatedly to try to speak with the mayor about how to remedy the problem and what needs to be done next, and I've been ignored. I find this unacceptable, unprofessional, and just downright rude. I am asking now in public for a meeting to be set for no later than next Wednesday I am asking now in public for a meeting to be set for no later than Wednesday of next week. The state is expecting us to continue with Phase 2 of the grant, and I don't want to be late on my commitment to them and to the town of Vernon. And you all received this grant, and if you haven't, Irene Mills has a copy. It's important that you read it. It sets forth everything that needs to be done in the next 2 years. And as a sidebar, Jean, people who live in rice houses should not throw stones. And Dan, when Mayor Murata asked for a measly $6,000 raise, you said people don't go to public office for the money. They do it to serve their community. And you took yourself a raise, or you asked for a raise? Shame on you, Dan.
What you talking about?
You asked for a $1,000 raise? Did you?
For what?
For your seat.
I didn't ask for any raise.
You didn't?
No.
It was brought to my attention that you asked for $1,000 more to be the council president. Is that not true?
I don't ask for it. That was the common payment.
Oh, okay. Well, you had said, you were so robust about speaking about how people don't go to office for the money, that they do it for their community.
Bev, right now, your case is under review, and I believe the attorney...
That's fine. Well, you can review what I've handed you, and that may help you and bring you out of the dark a little bit, all of you. And I am always available. I have tried to be more than available. But right now, the trees and their health is what we're concentrating on. We have trees over there. If you look at the pictures, they're suffering. There's no reason for that. It's absolutely unacceptable to me that trees that we fought so hard to get for Vernon since we lost 53,000 in 2011, when some of you were actually around, Harry and Dan. And I fought hard with the Environmental Commission to get reforestation, and now you're ignoring and letting these trees suffer, and I'm not accepting it. You can go after me and do what you want, but to let the trees sit there and suffer and have exposed roots is not acceptable. And I need something done about it. The state of New Jersey will not be happy with that. We are holding a lot of money to take care of them. That's what the money's for. It's for the grant, nothing more. We can do nothing more with that money. It's to the embetterment of the floration of Vernon. Okay, that means trees. We have extra money, we can put more trees in, but we have to take care of what we've already planted.
Thank you.
Okay, and I will go out there with a shovel, and I shouldn't have to do that. Okay? Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak?
Good evening, Doreen Edwards, Highland Lakes. I'm also on the Environmental Committee. I'm just concerned about what's starting to happen in this town again. I thought we were above that. We were going in a positive direction. I'm very saddened to see and hear what's going on. I actually wasn't going to come tonight because I didn't feel well, but I thought it was important to state a few things. As many of you probably know, when we get a grant, there are guidelines and stipulations that we have to meet. I do not want to jeopardize our town in coming in conflict with the state on those requirements. There's a bigger picture here, folks. I'm on the Environmental Commission for the betterment of Vernon. I have no political aspirations, nothing. But it concerns me that certain things are being done and I don't understand the reasoning behind them. And the only reason I could see is for political gains, if you will. I stand behind Beverly Buds. I think she's been a good chairwoman. She really cares about this town. She really does want to make it a prettier town. Also, with our dates of our terms ending. Now, my term ends December 2016. There are others on this committee that do not end at that time, and I want that corrected in the record. We need to be cross our T's and dot our I's, and I see this slipping away, and it really concerns me. And thank you.
Dan, somebody's raising their hand.
Yes, yes.
Jesse Palladini, Sunset Ridge. I have a question for Mayor Shortway, Council President Kadish, and Councilwomen Ooms and Murphy. Is there an end to this hatred, spite, and revenge that you people just enact every single day that you are in office? Is there an end? Can you tell us? Is there an end to this terroristic action of yours? You just, and you have this look on your face that you're just, yeah, you. Me? Yeah, you. I'm listening to That you. you're just smirking and smiling at everybody. It's all a joke to you, isn't it? No. Oh, no. When does it end? Do you stay up nights plotting with one another, saying, how can we get them next? What could we do to them next? Don't shake your head no, because that's exactly what you
Jesse,
do.
this is totally unacceptable.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, are you censoring me?
I am not censoring you.
Thank you.
I'm just telling
Then keep your
you.
mouth shut and let me have my
Oh,
5 minutes.
really?
Thank you.
That, out of order, yes, out of
You gonna call
order.
the police? Is that enough?
I will, if
I'm
it's
not
necessary.
done. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But you're being very unreasonable.
No, I'm not being unreasonable.
No.
First, you tried to throw me off the Environmental Commission as secretary. You didn't succeed. Then you threw me off the Historic Preservation Commission as secretary. I let you get away with that one.
You did you?
Yeah, I did, because I didn't want it to hurt an innocent person.
I think
But
that
what you did-
comment is
Excuse
very
me, It's
telling.
my 5 minutes. You're being inappropriate.
Thank you.
And now you're taking your spite out on trees? Really? Really? You know what? I hope you have to pay the state back for that grant. But I, for one, am so sick to death of the spite, the revenge, and the hatred that this council manipulates every single day. Mayor Shortway, Beverly Buds is too much of an activist for your liking? Does it matter to you that she's the best Environmental Commission chairperson this town has ever known? Does it matter to you that she's done more for this community's environment than any other environmental commission chairperson? I would know because I've been there for 35 years watching them. You haven't. You're darn right she's an activist. She's an activist for this town's environment. And you people try to go after her because she got a grant for trees? Really? What are you going to do? You're going to
We
kill
do
the
not
trees?
have facts at this point. Those facts are being gathered. You assume
Facts on
that we
what?
know what you're talking about.
Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about.
We assume that you know, that we know what you're talking about.
She's been calling for weeks now, saying that there are trees that are down. There are trees that need work. She's been calling for weeks, trying to order the other trees. I hope you have to pay the state of New Jersey back every single penny for every tree that you damage and destroy. I just want to say that it's sickening and disgusting, the amount of spite and hatred that this town government and this mayor has. And your smirk on your face is reprehensible. Oh, boy.
Good evening.
Dan?
Diane Wexler, Our Lakes, Vernon Environmental Commission, more importantly, North Jersey Pipeline Walkers. You knew about the grant, you knew about the grant, you knew about the grant, and Gene Murphy, you were on the council when we got the grant too. So don't you even say that you're still collecting facts. Were you sleeping when all this happened over the last few years?
Is there anyone else that wishes to come forward? Gary?
Gary Martinson, Vernon. Slight change of topic. Ordinance 1607 establishing the eligibility of commercial and industrial structures for 20-year tax abatements, tax exemptions and abatements is up for a first reading. I agree with what I can see so far. That I can see so far is my concern. The entire ordinance isn't available for viewing on the website. In prior years, we could see drafts of ordinances so as to be able to advise possible suggestions of changes, acknowledge points that make sense, and/or suggest being tabled or sent to a work session. This helps prevent rewrites at the second reading and then sending it back for another first reading. I do not think we should need to send in an Oprah request to see a draft. If full proposed ordinances again could be available on the website, I ask this be done. Second, as part of analysis and review of documentation and videos for adding to FACT's website, I found some things I think the council should be made aware of. I understand that there already have been several discussions on Resolution 15190, including motions and votes taken on those motions. Therein lies part of my concern. During the February 22nd council meeting, MUA discussion, it was mentioned, council discussion of the MUA, it was mentioned that Mr. Urson at the prior meeting was given a task to put together some questions to be given to the MUA to respond to. A motion and vote was taken. It stated that until these questions and issues were addressed, the endorsement of an application to Sussex County to expand the wastewater management plan temporarily is put on hold. This while the council was in anticipation of redoing 15190. Unfortunately, that isn't what was voted on and passed at the prior meeting. February 8th, the council voted on a motion to redraft 15190. Mr. Urson, as part of that, was to draft a proposed resolution that would replace Resolution 15190, not come up with 8 questions, and it included 3 areas. This proposed resolution was to be sent to Council Members Murphy to confirm it, since it contained her suggestions, but then was also supposed to be forwarded to the rest of the council members and put on the agenda for the next council meeting, which would have been the 22nd, where it then could replace 15190. In essence, you voted to do one thing on the 8th, but then it was brought forward as something else on the 22nd. Anything that may have happened in between to cause that should have been done at a council meeting, if anything indeed did solicit such a change, from drafting a proposed resolution to coming up with 8 questions. Sorry, but you can't do that, legally in my opinion anyway. Last, the original resolution has some big gotchas in it that either form of the just mentioned motions and votes in February allowed to still be in place. The resolution had two parts. The first was that Vernon Township endorses the wastewater management plan amendment for the two areas mentioned in the resolution. The second part, the gotcha, is this endorsement shall be submitted to the Sussex County Policy Advisory Committee, the Sussex County Board of Freeholders, the NJDEP, and all interested parties. The notice to suspend or that a redraft was being done regarding the endorsement only was given at a council meeting and to the MUA. An alert of said suspension or reevaluation of the endorsement itself also needs to be forwarded from the council to all those areas just mentioned. Otherwise, they may be proceeding or in a belief there still is a full endorsement by Vernon Township. Given during the presentation to the council by the MUA, the schedule, this one that you all got and it was presented here, had dates of meetings with those groups up to and during those February meetings and several after. So that's the gotcha of alerting that you didn't do, at least in my book. So voted to do one thing, they did something else. Both things suspended the plan, but did not potentially alert other government agencies that need to be notified. Thank you.
Anyone else? There being none coming forward? Do I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Motion. I'll second it.
Is there a second? All
Second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Mayor, can we have your report?
Yes, thank you. We received a grant for Samus Road to repair and pave it at $245,000. Gypsy Moth bid came in at $51.05 per acre. This is down from the original estimate of $53 an acre. I've directed our planner to begin a water use and conservation management plan, which is due December 31st, 2017. However, we were awarded $80,000 from a previous grant to create such a plan, so we're going to go forward with it at this time. This is necessary for future water allocation and planning for COA obligations. We will begin negotiating a developer's agreement with Suez to supply the municipal building, DPW, and animal shelter with water, and will allow us to fully charge our fire suppression system. The MUA subcommittee met with the MUA to discuss the expansion of the sewer service area. The council will need to reach a consensus regarding this matter, hopefully in the near future. Mr. Volker and I will meet with SCUMA, the executive director, John Zales, regarding the sewer system and mutual wastewater efforts. I believe that's scheduled for this Friday. And regarding Earthfest signs, just was brought to my attention this morning, and I gave you each a report, which I'll read. It's a request for approval for signage for Earthquest from the Vernon Chamber Charities, was received by email but was inadvertently missed. They're requesting two signs, one banner 2.5 by 6 foot, to be placed at 311 Route 94 Fire, Vernon Tire and Auto, and a 2.5 foot by 4 foot sign at McAfee Ski and Snowboard at 105 Route 94. The signs would be displayed from April 12, 2016 through April 24, 2016. Permission has been received by both property owners and is on file with the Township Zoning Office. I'm asking for a motion for council approval of permission for the two signs to be displayed for Earthfest 2016, which we will be held on April 24th at Heaven Hill Farm. Thank you.
Next, we have the approval.
Excuse
Yes.
Question for me. Regarding the Gypsy Moth situation, you say you have an approved cost right now, which is your estimated cost, but have you selected a vendor to do the application? And has a date been, established when the applications will be made?
Not at this time, it's all coming through the state. They're dictating to us when this is going to occur, so once they let us know, we'll do a mailing to all the affected residents that the spraying is going to take place over their residence. So this was just received within, I think it was last Thursday or Friday.
Secondly, you mentioned that an MUA subcommittee met with, an MUA,
It was Mrs. Ohms and
right,
Mrs. Murphy, myself, and
council
MUA.
subcommittee. Could you,
Yes.
in the future, would you please let me know when these subcommittees are meeting?
Sure.
While I don't necessarily need to be in attendance, I would like to know when they are occurring. I believe this is like the third time. Second, this council, the council subcommittee has met.
Will do.
Okay.
Just to clarify, I'm not understanding why people are calling this a subcommittee. The mayor originally called a meeting and asked Ms. Ohms and I to attend. And then the last meeting, the second one was the last meeting, it was just more of a conclusion. There were no decisions made or anything. So to give the impression that it was some type of subcommittee, that business was being taken care of, would not be accurate. That's all.
My recollection is correct. I believe you referred to it as a subcommittee.
No. Nope.
Excuse me. And I believe
You can listen,
also-
you can listen back to the tapes, and that never happened.
I believe you also said that you wanted to be part of this group, of course, with the MUA's permission
No,
or accession.
what you heard was that Ed Snook formed a subcommittee in the MUA with Vincent Zeno, and I asked if we could meet with them, Ms. Ohms and I. That had, what the meeting the mayor called was totally different.
For the record, that the MUA need not have bothered meeting with anybody from the council.
Then you can speak to the MUA about that.
No. I think I've made my comments well known. I've expressed them from the dais to both Mr. Zeno and also to Mr. Snook.
Next, we have approval of minutes, special work session minutes of February 17th, 2016. Can I have a motion
I'll make that
to
motion.
approve? Sandy, did you make that motion?
I did.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Wetzel made the second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Holmes?
Yes,
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President King?
Yes. Special work session minutes of February 25th, 2016. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Holmes?
Yes,
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President King?
Yes. For the consent agenda, we want to pull out 16-111, so we can amend it. 16-99, resolution reappointing fund commissioner for the GIF. At the beginning of the year, the township appointed our interim business administrator as both the GIF commissioner and the public agency compliance officer. Resolution 16-99 and 100 reflect the township as a new administrator. 16-100 is the appointment of the public compliance officer, Mr. Volker. And 16-101, authorizing the placement of a banner across Samus Road in accordance with the zoning code for the Vernon Township Board of Education. Resolution 16-102, authorizing a contract with the Land Conservancy of the New Jersey for open space advisory consultant services in the amount not to exceed $13,000. This shall renew the contract with the Land Conservancy. Resolution 16-03, refund for total disabled veteran, Williams, fourth quarter. This resolution shall refund taxes for a totally disabled veteran, Williams. Ditto on 16-104, 16-105, authorizing a maintenance service contract with Specialty Underwriters LLC in the amount not to exceed $3,422. This resolution authorizes the renewal of contract to insure the office equipment in Town Hall. Resolution 16-106, resolution authorizing the application to the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program. This resolution authorizes the application for bulletproof vests. Resolution 16-107, authorizing the stipend for 2016 transcription services in the amount not to exceed $3,000. This resolution authorizes transcription services for the township. Resolution 16-108, refund for overpayment of taxes, Lucia. This resolution, as well as 16-109 and 16-110, authorizes tax overpayment refunds for Lucia, Villano, and Nye. Resolution 16-112, authorizing an indoor air quality assessment contract with RK Occupational and Environmental Analysis, Inc., the amount not to exceed $1,850. It authorizes the contract for indoor air quality tests for the municipal building. May I have a motion to adopt 16-99 through 16-112 less 111?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Holmes?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Davis?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt 1699 to 16112, excluding 1611.
I would like to ask for a motion to amend Resolution 16-111, which would include the addition that the mayor had read into the record.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Resolution 16, any discussion? Roll call? Well, roll call to amend.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Ong?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Davis?
Yes.
Motion carries to amend 1611.
This amendment would include the Vernon Chamber of Commerce banners, which would cover Taste of Vernon, as well as the Earth Fest. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 111 as amended?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Ong?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Kadesh?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt 16111 as amended.
Number 10, introduction of the first reading of proposed ordinances, Ordinance 16-07, an ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, and State of New Jersey, establishing the eligibility of commercial and industrial structures for up to 20-year tax exemptions and abatements pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law, NJSA 40A:20-1, that's equal. Before our township entered into any agreements with a developer, and an ordinance is required to enable a contractual agreement which can be struck in the redevelopment zone or zones. This amending ordinance, 14-16, which is an enabling ordinance for that process. May I have a motion to introduce Ordinance 16-07 with a public hearing to be held on May 9th, 2016?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a roll call?
Yes.
Councilmember Ong?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes, because I don't think this is necessary. We are continually revisiting legislation that has been passed previously. Previous legislation, as it stands, in my opinion, stands well and should be maintained.
So, yes.
No.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Kadesh?
Yes.
Harris to introduce ordinance 1607, the public hearing on May 9th.
Ordinance 16-08, an ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of property owned by the township and not required for public purposes, and more commonly known as Block 142.01, Lot 1. The township is no longer in need of the property commonly known as the Fayline Building. May I have a motion to introduce 1608 with a public hearing to be held on, we didn't choose a date? May 9th? Okay. Is this going to be a public auction?
It'll be a public auction.
Not that same day.
What is it?
After the public hearing, but not the day of the public.
Okay.
Correct. So what's the second meeting? Is it the 23rd? So if you adopt this, the public hearing for the second reading will be on May 9th, and the auction date will be on the May 23rd.
Okay. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second?
second.
Who seconded?
I did. I have a question.
Murphy. Roll call?
I have a question.
Wait, Dan.
I'm sorry?
I have a question.
Yes.
On K, where it's purchaser must obtain permits to begin on work,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
number K.
Is that okay? Bottom of page 3.
Are we talking about the current motion on the table?
Yes.
Well, on that, it says that the work needs to begin. But what happens if they begin and then they just let it sit?
You could have a more elaborate enforcement mechanism. Typically, in these auctions, you don't have an enforcement mechanism. So the initial thought was you were adding something to ensure that somebody went ahead, pulled the permit, and began work. If they begin work and stall, this ordinance doesn't have a remedy for that.
So is there a way to?
Is 90 days enough?
That's not the question. The question is, it says that they need to begin, they need to start. But they could start, and a year later, they could really be in the same spot.
So,
Yeah, the
again, I
$25,000.
drafted this, so it's only my personal thoughts, but if someone is invested enough to get on site, pull the permits, get a contractor there, that was more than you would normally have in this ordinance. If you wanted a full schedule and have it all bonded, that they had to follow a certain schedule, you could do that. It's a little bit hard to predict because if someone's going to demo this and reuse the foundation, if someone's going to demo it and start over, if someone's going to demo it, leave it flat and go to a land use board application, there's a lot of paths. So that was, what was in the ordinance was my suggestion of more insurance that this site be addressed than you would normally have.
Okay, but what happens if they start and then just let it sit? How can that be, I mean, I'm just,
Well,
They forfeit
the answer
$25,000?
would be nothing.
You want to collect? I thought it says before
well,
that.
it's
we
not,
collect.
that,
It's a starting point.
And they forfeit the $25,000.
No,
No.
if they came and did half the demolition and stopped, the ordinance condition that you're passing, that would be a condition of the auction, would not address that. There would be other things that would address that. You would have a half-demoed building, the building department would be involved, it would be
Right.
unsafe, it would be an attraction. Your building official could come in and force them to hurry up and finish. But the question you're asking me is whether the auction condition solves that problem. It does not. You'd have to leave that to your building official, I think.
okay.
Unless you wanted to develop a more elaborate schedule of enforcement, but that was just a little hard for me to predict.
Okay. All right.
Okay. May I have a motion?
We did that.
Okay. And roll call.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Owens?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wexler?
Yes.
Council President Caters?
Yes.
Motion carries to introduce ordinance 1608 for the public hearing on May 9th.
Second reading of 16-06, an ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing transfer of certain township-owned property to the Vernon Township Board of Education. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 16-06?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Is there anyone wishing to address this ordinance?
Yes, I do. I 100% wholeheartedly and enthusiastically support this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vic Morata, Glenwood. The only comment I have to make about this ordinance is why didn't you just donate the building to the society yourself? Because that's what the school board's going to do.
I believe the contract, or the deed, prevents us from doing that.
It does not.
It does.
Absolutely does not.
It's my belief.
Contract, Mr. Gage.
Any other members of the public wish to make address on this matter? There being none, I ask for a motion to close it to the public.
Motion.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt 16-06 ordinance?
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Holmes?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
I believe I have to abstain. I am a member of the Historical Society, so I will abstain.
Councilmember Kadesh?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt ordinance 1606.
Mrs. Murphy, would you like to make any comments?
I just wanted to remind anybody, if they're interested in attending the Taste of Vernon at Heaven Hill Farm on April 28th from 6 to 9, you can purchase tickets at Highland Flowers, Heaven Hill, Gross & Jansen, Lakeland Pools. And, no, other than that, that's it.
So,
I have two things. Mayor Shortway, are we going to be involved in Sussex Day?
Yes, we're working on establishing a table. We've been discussing this, so we will have a table.
Okay, so we will participate. And also, thank you for addressing Failing situation. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Rizzuto?
Yes. On more than 3 occasions, Councilman Wetzel and I have requested a date for a public work session to have the issue of the contracts, and the genesis of those contracts, and an explanation of such be made to the council at a public meeting. Last meeting, I requested it 3 times. And finally, you said that you would get back to me. It's 2 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for a date. Yet within the budget, there stands a $10,000 line item for a third-party attorney or a conflict attorney to come in and review those contracts, and I find it totally unnecessary. If in fact, whatever happened back in 2005, 1988, happened because of an illegal situation, an incompetent situation, or somebody just didn't know what the hell they were doing, it makes no difference as to what is occurring now. Right now, there is a train coming down the track. And that track is carrying a train that says within 7 years, there's going to be a substantial increase in the amount of money that has to be paid to SCUMA and borne by the users in the township. And the only way to offset that, the mayor has pointed out, is we need to increase flow. And all of the meetings that are being held, in my mind, do nothing more than kick the can down the road and stop the MUA doing what they were legally allowed to do, and that is go out and collect information. The fact that 15190, that resolution, was passed wasn't even necessary. It was done so as a courtesy, in my mind, because it wasn't even necessary for them to put it on, or to be put on the agenda. So I don't know what we're doing in constantly going out, trying to have meetings, and we have somebody sitting on the dais with us, our attorney, who was involved in the construction of these contracts, the execution of any of these contracts, and has the background in them, and there's no reason why the township should not be given an opportunity to hear this. There's just no reason why we should delay any movement on this. Either we're going to put new ratables in this township, and they're going to require flow, they're going to require more sewage, or we are not going to grow. Simple as that. And at that point, we need to look at what are we going to do when the numbers for paying back the bonds for the facility that was constructed for Vernon, at Vernon's request, has to be paid for. You're looking at over $1.5 million that is going to be borne by the existing ratepayers. And right now, their rate does not reflect that amount of money. So, Mr. Kadish, once again, I ask you, please give Mr. Wetzel and I a date for the council to meet at a public work session so that the township attorney can bring this information forward, and we can all have an opportunity to question. If the council still wants to go ahead and spend that $10,000, that's certainly up to them. I'm not about to go along with it, but be my guest.
Thank you. Mr. Wetzel?
Excuse me, I'm waiting for an answer.
I will look into it.
No, I'm sorry, you said that the last time. You have the full council sitting here on the dais. There's no reason why you cannot ask the council if you can be ready, if you would be willing to meet on a particular date. I know because I've done it. As council president, I've asked whether or not the council could be ready to meet on a particular date. We've established dates from the dais, and there's no reason why it cannot be done now. I will not ask, again, in a private situation and be told that you cannot come up with a quorum. The request is valid. 2 councilmen have made a request. It's within the code that permits us to do this. I believe if you check with council attorney, you'll find that we are entirely appropriate in making this request.
Well, with that said, give me a date.
I have to check my calendar.
No, I'm not going to give you a date, because my schedule is pretty much open. And if I give you a date, I can only say that you will probably not be a date that would be effective for everybody else. But I can tell you that, how about 1 week from this Saturday? Saturday morning. I'm sorry, you cannot make Saturday, Mrs. Holmes?
No, I can't, I'm sorry.
How about a week from this Friday?
Let me check my calendar.
I'll
I know I
Friday for
can't
you,
do
John.
Saturday.
Yeah.
What date is that?
I got a stress test coming.
Mr. Rizzuto, what date is that, Friday?
When's your stress test?
11:30 Newton Hospital,
When?
the 15th.
The 15th? Make it the next week.
Calendar, okay. Oh, we'll get it here. Mr. Rizzuto?
No, you can have my calendar.
Oh, yeah.
15th is
I
out for
just
me.
wanted to look at
15th is
what,
out?
Yeah, you
what,
see? Dan is saying the 22nd.
it's the 22nd?
I don't understand why you're making up these dates, because I'm looking for an unbiased opinion. So having Mr. Urson explain any of these contracts is not what this council is looking for.
I don't see how.
Council President, could you address the audience and ask them to not be
I
shouting
don't
out?
see how our attorney is considered biased, simply because he took part in the construction of these contracts. It was something that either the MUA or the council, previous council,
That's not an
asked
issue.
him to
Let's
do.
set this date so you
Right.
can get your.
I agree. Tuesday, the 19th? During the day?
Sounds what?
I have to look at my calendar, so.
Tuesday, the 19th is fine for me.
Not fine for me, I deliver Meals on Wheels.
Right.
I have a Sussex Co-op meeting at 9 o'clock.
How about Tuesday, the 26th?
Well, she's
That's
busy
good
every
for me.
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday, the 26th? 6:30?
No, it's got to be during the day. I got to
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
go up at 7.
I'm not. I said that I'm not.
I have a Sussex
It's not a
Co-op
secret, I said I'm not.
on the 26th.
No, it is
7
right.
o'clock.
I'm not.
How about
Please hold
Wednesday-
your comments in
How
in the
about
audience.
Wednesday, the 27th?
No good. Sarah's coming home. I got to be at the airport. I don't know. I haven't seen my sweetheart in 4 months.
Wednesday, How about Friday, the 29th?
That's good.
That might work for me, but again, I gotta check.
During the day?
Yes.
Yeah, during the day, that's good for me.
During the day?
Friday, the 29th at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but I think if you want to make this more of a public thing, I think evening probably would be best.
Friday nights, no one's going to come.
Well, maybe a day during the week.
Including me.
at
Is
night.
that, it's the 29th at 10?
I'm throwing out dates, and I
You're
can
the
be
star.
there, and yet the rest of the council finds a reason not to be, so.
We'll throw
Okay.
dates out, and I'll send you an
Tentatively, we set it
email.
for
We could
Friday.
do it
Friday, the 29th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
All right.
10 a.m. Oh. All right. Well, if one of us can't make it, I mean, it still can go on.
Diane,
right?
please hold your
Yes, so
comments.
It's okay. You only need 3 people.
Friday, 29th,
Day or night, I don't care.
10 o'clock. Yeah, Mr. Urson,
Yes.
okay? Thank you.
He's not available PM.
AM.
10 a.m. is fine.
Mr. Wetzel?
Glad that, I'm glad that's settled. Just 2 things. I think it was either Jean or Miss Ohms, either one. May 1 is Sussex Day at Sussex Community College, okay? And hopefully, we're supposed to be working on getting a table and being there, okay? And secondly, the Historical Society had an outstanding dinner dance this past Saturday at St. Francis de Sales. The entertainment was out of this world. It brought back a lot of memories, and the food was excellent. So, Jesse, thank you.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, Council President Kato, I just want to clarify, you want a notice for Friday, 29th of April at 10 a.m. for a workshop meeting to discuss
To review contracts.
contract review, MUA. Action may be taken, yes, no, maybe.
No action.
Correct.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Is
Second.
there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?